I want to show you something. So if you can, hopefully you're looking at the screen. I want to show you the dial count that Matt G did on Tuesday. He got 9 inbound calls. The reason he got 9 inbound calls is because he's making so many outbound calls that people are calling him back. You got 147 outbounds. That's pretty good. Wednesday, same thing, a lot of inbounds. Why? Well, let's do the math. He's got more inbounds coming because he's calling more people. He actually, this is crazy. I love the percentage here. From Tuesday to Wednesday, I mean, $147 on Tuesday, as if that's not enough. Wednesday, he increased it by 13%. We're going to talk about this because Matt is seeing better numbers than last year. And it's important that you guys see basically the why. And that's what this is. And you know, I want to show you, like last week, if you look at the image here on your left, Matt did 8K in AP. He's being very consistent this year. I think that's the bigger difference, the big difference from this year to last year, because this is his second year on our platform. The consistency. February, you know, he wrote 31K. March, boom, there he is again, 36K. April, you guys are seeing what I'm talking about, right? 30K a month average. That wasn't what he did last year. So here's the amazing part. Last year, Matt wrote a little over $240,000 of annualized premium. This year, he's on target to hit $360,000 of annualized premium. We're talking a 50% production increase. 50%. He took his numbers from last year. Let's make another 50% on top of that. I mean, that's crazy, guys. Nobody has ever done that with our platform. This is what I'm going to ask. Matt, if you wouldn't mind coming on just for a couple of minutes.
Hey, Doug.
Good morning. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Excellent. We talked a little bit yesterday about this. So let me just say, what has changed from last year to this year?
Here's the scoop. I just went over what I needed to do. I was kind of just using the appointments. And I didn't really get into the leads. I thought I'm just living off these appointments because I came from a place where I had to call a bunch of leads, and this is like Disney World compared to that. So I was like just picking the low-hanging fruit off the appointments and just leaving all the leads where they were. And I did my numbers and I said, well, I got to get to this amount of AP. What do I need to do? So I talked to Brandon. I beefed up my schedule, and then I still have some missing places where there's no appointments. And I said, I'm just going to start calling leads. And I got some success. And that's all it took for me, because in my mind, why am I going to waste all my time calling all these leads and wasting my energy if there's nothing there? Well, if you find some gold, that's the incentive. And then I called and I made another sale, and I started tracking my sales. What ones come from appointments and one comes from leads? 20 to 30% are coming from leads now. And that's all that's changed. I just got some success, kept doing it. And now I'm just a machine because I've gamified it. A master salesman a couple years ago told me to gamify this and know your numbers. Know them right down to your dials. How many dials did you make? How much money did you make? Guess what? You're making $15 a dial, whether they pick up or not. And Ernie told me that years ago. And awesome. I stuck to it, bud. So that's in a nutshell.
I was going to ask who. I had a feeling it was Ernie.
Yeah.
The guys, Matt and Ernie, know each other from the old place that they used to work. So they've been friends for a while here. Okay, this is pretty awesome. Here's the funny thing. Agents come on our system, and you know, generally the first conversation that I have with an agent that's interested in working with us, I am very clear that we've got these leads of people that don't set an appointment, but then half of them actually will set an appointment. So you still got to call the leads, and you're calling the appointments too. And I think what happens is, and Brandon and I, you know, we talk about this all the time, in a sense, because industry standards, everyone's calling just the leads. There ain't no appointments. There aren't any appointments. So industry standards is you call the leads, you work your leads. So here we are, in a sense, you guys are spoiled in a sense, and don't even realize it. And so thank you for pointing that out. So Matt stepped up. He's working everything. He sees sales from the leads. It's working. So let me ask you something else. Matt, you dial more than any, and I'm just going to say it. I don't know if I told you this. You make more dials than any other agent we have.
Oof.
And And so I know that's a big part. Were you making the same amount of dials last year as you were this year?
Half as many, Doug. I looked back and looked at my numbers. I was making 200 a week, 250 a week, and now I like to make 100 a day. I become a machine. This is my video game. I get paid. It's linked to my bank account. It's a conversation game, and all you do is plug into it and sit and become a machine. It's much better than TV. Much better.
I love it. Are you working 80 hours a week?
Nope. My wife said
hours.
35. 35. I jumped to it.
35
to 40. You know, it varies. I'm dealing with some health issues.
Okay, let me ask you about Tuesday's dial count. About how many hours did you actually work on Tuesday?
I was sitting in here working for 6 to 6.5 hours, I would say.
Okay. I'm gonna kind of just say this, guys. You know, you're hearing Matt. He's making more dials than any other agent, and he's not even working 40 hours a week. Now, Matt, I know your wife helps you with the business, right?
She sends out the thank you cards, and she does the pending stuff and the NSFs kind of, but she communicates. Yes, she's my partner in crime.
Yeah, Austin's asking, is that calling one lead 3 to 4 times, or how many unique leads is that?
What I do is I go into the smart lists, and I've created these lists. I have one that says missed appointments and one that says leads. So I'm calling the leads, I'm double dialing, and I'll double dial the whole page. Then I'll send a text message to the whole page. You can send a little mass text to that whole page. So I just click each box, send them something out. Oops, you didn't set an appointment. Please give a call to my number, you know, so we can set something. And I just go through page by page like that. So honestly, I double dial the leads, the appointments, missed appointments. I call them twice, and then I'm creating lists for January, February, March, and April. So I have all my missed appointments for January, February, March, and April, and I'm calling those again one more time. And again, doing the same thing with a text message after each page, but I'm probably hitting each one 4 or 5 times.
Are you getting sales off the older ones?
Heck yeah, I am. And I'm finding the sweet spot. Like January, I'm calling people, yeah, I talked to you, but I already bought. And I'm like, oh. So I'm calling March, and they're saying, you know, they're picking up. So about 2 months old aged leads is a sweet spot right now. And listen, guys, it's not like it's a gold mine. You just walk in, you sit, you grind, just like in the movie Rounders. Who wins the game? The grinders. Sit and grind, and that's all I do. I'm not that much better. I'm not that much worse. I know that doing it now. So my biggest stumbling block was not doing it. I'm not going to waste the little bit of energy I have on calling all these leads. I'll make some sales tomorrow from my appointments. Or I got a block of time here. I can go water the lawn. And I was like, forget it. I need to hit 7 or 8 grand a week. And that's all it takes is calling more people, because that's the only way I can make sales is calling.
Matt, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on for this. I guess the moral of the story is, even if you're making 150 dials a day, you're probably not going to work 40 hours a week with our system. I mean, and so look, imagine if you actually make, because most of the agents on this call, I hate to say it, are making about half of what, you know, I shouldn't say half, because Matt's numbers are 500 a week, but most agents are doing what he used to do, basically right around 250, 300 dials a week. So if you can figure out a way to increase that, and I'm talking to the new agents and those of you who've been with us for a couple of years, just imagine there's gold in them there hills. All right, it's in there. You're just not digging deep enough. When I look at these here, I'm gonna give an example. March, you got Matt on top, Chris, Patrick, Alan, and Phil. So let me just give kudos to Phil. Phil, his first month was March. He got in the top 5. His second month, April, he got in the top 5. So let me give kudos to him. Very cool, Phil. Very nice to see a new agent doing those kind of numbers. Let me just say this. I'm talking to you too, Phil. If you figured out a way to make an extra 50 dials a day, those numbers on that March and April, those numbers are going to be higher. Like, there's no way you're not going to make an extra sale or 2 or 3 for the week, per week. Like, here, I'll give it another. Let's go back to March. Chris T, those numbers could have been closer to 40K. Patrick, same thing. Alan could have been more like 35. Phil, look, Phil, you got off to a great start. Keep going, push yourself a little bit more. You're still new. Do the hard stuff in the front so later on you don't have to. And it becomes easy. You're teaching yourself work habit.